Church360 ledger, entering transactions. Hopefully everybody can hear me and see my screen. If not, you can put a little note in the question chat box. My name is Yvonne Giannino, and I'm the presenter today, and I'm a software consultant with Concordia Technology Solutions. I've been with Concordia Technology Solutions for about 7 years now. My contact information is listed there. You can always email me, call me with questions about Church360 Ledger or any of our other church management programs. A few housekeeping items. The presentation will be about 25 minutes. We'll have about 5 minutes left over for questions and answers. Sometimes this training will end early, and if so, we'll just get you on your way a few minutes early today. You can ask questions throughout, and the recording will be shared and posted on our YouTube channel like any of our other Church360 training webinars. Our outline today, we're going to be taking a look at transaction definitions and conventions specific to Church360 Ledger. We'll take a look at the debits and credits chart, transaction types, and there are basically 5 different transaction types in Church360 Ledger: deposits, transfers, checks including check printing, payments, and journal entries. We'll also take a look today at special transactions including imported transactions, reoccurring transactions, voided transactions, and copy transactions. And then questions and answers at the end, but again, you can ask them throughout. Transaction types as defined in Church360 Ledger. Deposits are used to record the money that comes into the church. So specifically, these are going to be Sunday offering or any other deposits, that money that comes into the church. Transfers allow the user to transfer money between similar account types, asset to asset, income to income, or expense to expense. Payments are used for your online electronic payments. So any online bill pay to a vendor, any of your monthly payments that you need to make would be considered a payment. Checks are used for printing paper checks or recording a handwritten check. And then your journal entries are used for account balances, corrections, interest payments, and bank fees. A few other conventions within Church360 Ledger. Every transaction must have a date. All transactions have a memo option, so it's not mandatory, but you can enter a memo. Every transaction must have a minimum of 2 lines, and debits and credits must balance. And Ledger will not let you save a transaction without this being true. So if you try to enter the transaction without one of the required fields, it will give you a pop-up with a little error message kind of prompting you with the information that you are needed to save that transaction. Here's our debits versus credits charts. I have a copy of this on my desk as well as a few of our other technical support members. One of the nice things about Church360 Ledger is it will enter the appropriate debit and credit to the account when you go through the transaction, which I love. It does kind of help you along the way. But if you need this or need a copy of it, just let me know. I can email you my PowerPoint. But the transactions do kind of take care of that for you. It's one of the nicer things about Church360 Ledger. So we'll go ahead and get started. All right, I see you turn off the webcam, and I'm going to just go ahead and change my screen here. This is the login for Church360 Ledger. And when you log in, you're brought to the home page. Let me close this out here. It gives you your account balances, and it will also give you all of your transactions by date, type, and the description of them listed below. You can also select a particular date range for the transactions or your account balances by simply selecting a date range, and it will filter those transactions and information based on that date range. Moving across the top here, you'll see the check printer icon. Whenever you do save a check, it will save in your check queue, and then you can mark them as printed or print them if you are printing the checks through Church360 Ledger. Right next to it is your icon for your reoccurring transactions and your special transactions. We'll take a look at these individually. It'll show you how many you have pending. So any reoccurring payment, deposit, check that you have will show up here based on the frequency. And if you have Church360 members, that's the little icon there for the offerings that will sync over from Church360 members. Anywhere you go throughout the program, this new transaction button will be visible, so it's easy to find it. It never goes away. It's easy to locate it throughout the program. Your orange dollar sign will bring you back to home whenever you need to go back to the home screen. Next to that is your reports, general ledger, income, expense, chart of accounts, balance sheet, and event log. And then next to that is the settings wheel. And this is where you can monitor your reoccurring transactions that you have set up, delete them, change them, and it'll just show you your pending reoccurring transactions. Also will show you your imported transactions, and we'll take a look at that as we go through. Going back to the home screen, we'll walk through some of our transactions. Transfer, typically that is going to be to transfer money from one account to another. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer funds, and we're going to transfer that from our savings account. Another nice feature in Church360 Ledger, if you don't know the account number or name, if you just type in the first few letters of that description in the search box, it'll pull up your two options here. So we have our savings account, and I'm transferring $500, and my offsetting asset account will be my checking account, and it is a balance transaction. It shows me I credited my savings account, I debited my checking account, and if I wanted to make it reoccurring, I can. If I wanted to, just save it, we're just going to hit save, and I've got my saved transaction. And there it is. It populates right up here. Central savings, transfer funds, shows me the amount debited and credited, and the running balance then. Your next transaction will be deposit. Again, you can, if you are a Church360 member customer, that deposit will transfer automatically over from Church360 members. You do not have to use that as the deposit. You can enter the deposit separately. So we'll do Sunday, oops, if I could type today, Sunday offering. The date is September 11th. There's no payee for this. It's going to go into my checking account. It is $2,500. And my offsetting accounts, I can divide it up then based on the individual funds. You'll notice as I go through this, until I enter the total amount that balances the deposit, it'll give me an additional line item with the amount left allocated to whatever fund is remaining. So it kind of takes care of the math for you along the way as well, which is another nice feature. It means I don't have to get out my calculator or try to figure the remaining balance. Then once I enter the final line item, it gives me my T-chart and shows all of my credits and my debits, and then I just hit save. The next transaction will be a payment, and again, the main difference between the payment is the check is this is going to be the anything you have an online bill pay. So if you're paying your electric bill or your internet bill or whatever that payment is, if you're just doing an online bill pay. So we're just going to do September electric bill. My payee, again, I don't have to know the exact name of it. I can just start typing in Ameren Electric is there. My asset account, it's going to come out of my checking account, and it was $103, and my expense account is going to be electric. So it's a balance transaction, shows me my debit and credit. If you wanted to make it reoccurring, you can. If not, you just hit save, and it shows you your transaction was created. And again, going through these transactions, they automatically save to this to your home screen. The next one is going to be check. You do not have to print checks off through Church360 Ledger, but if you want to, that is an option. We offer 2 different check style formats, a top loading check or a middle loading check. We're going to be going into more detail later this week with checks and payees, but for today's webinar, we'll just walk through the transaction and show you what this looks like. It's September. We're going to do September landscaping. The payee, again, if I don't know the exact name, I can type in Gleason's Lawn and Landscaping. It brings it up. It's going to come out of my checking account. It was $90. My offsetting expense is landscaping. And then it shows me the date, the amount, debit and credit. If I wanted to make it reoccurring, I can. If not, I'll save it. And it saves to my check queue. Then if you want to just mark them as printed, you can, or you can actually print them off. It just gives you, and it'll always show you how many checks you have in the check queue. But it gives you kind of a print preview as you're going through that check as well. So it kind of gives you that preview before you would select to print it. The next one is journal entry. So this is typically going to be interest payment, or if you forget, so we can just do interest for savings. And the account is going to be your savings account. And it was $1, or let's say $2.50. And let's call this into property improvement, $2.50. And you hit save. If you wanted to make any of these a reoccurring transaction, you could go back to our home screen. And a reoccurring transaction is going to be more of a reminder. Obviously, if you need to edit one, you can. So if we go in here to reoccurring transactions, I can select my September internet bill. If I want to make this, you can update it. It shows you the frequency. You can do every other month, every month. You select the date, update it. Or if you want to make any of your current transactions a reoccurring transaction, you can. So I can go here, and I want to make this a recurring transaction. September landscaping every single month. On the first Sunday, I hit save. And then it will show up based on the frequency. And again, if you need to change one, you can. And just edit it. It just serves more as a reminder. Obviously, your bills are going to be different each month, and you can update them or delete them right from this recurring transaction screen. Going back to the home screen, if you need to void a transaction, let's say you have this check, they didn't receive it, or you need to, for whatever reason, you need to void it, you simply go in, you can void it, and it'll show you here that it was voided. If you hovered over it, it'll give you the date of the when you voided that check. If you need to copy a transaction, you simply open it up and you can copy it, and this is a new one, and you just go ahead and just save the date then. So let's say this is going to be September 18th. You save it. It's not changing that original one. It's just saving it to a new one, deposit, and then this is the one that I copied over. And then if you need to, again, track your recurring transactions, they're listed here. Here's my September bill pay. I click here. I hit if everything's the same, or if I need to change that amount. Let's say it's $106. You just update the amount and you hit save. The next one is going to be my trash removal. It's a payment. It tells me the date. I'm changing that to today's date. And the amount was actually $78. Make sure you change this amount over here and you hit save. Imported transactions, this is the sync between Church360 members and Ledger. If you have a deposit available, it will automatically give you the accounts and the amount allocated for that account. And basically all it's looking for is a memo and then the offsetting asset account. It gives you your debits and credits, and then you just hit save. But again, you do not have to enter the deposits from Church360 as distinct from Church360 members. You can still do it as a separate transaction and have that information entered separately. So here's my deposit from September 3rd, Sunday offering, my asset account, and I hit save. If you need to edit a transaction, it will, if I come in here, go back to my home screen, and I want to edit this transaction, and let's say you need to amendment, I need to change the amount to $75, and then you can say change the amount, change entered amount, and you hit save. Imported transactions, these are going to be imported transactions from Paychex. We partner with Paychex. It's a payroll company. If you have an account with them or interested in getting an account with them, you can let us know here at Concordia. We do partner with them, and if there was any information listed here, it would just list the imported transactions from Paychex. So that is under the settings area under imported transactions. The only other thing I would point out is if you do want to print checks through Church360 Ledger, in the settings area, this is where you would select the check format. We do partner with Forms Plus. There's additional information on our website. If you'd like to have additional information about that, you can. Or if you already have checks and you just want to save the check into Church360 Ledger and not print it out, it would just be visible here in your check queue. And scrolling through here again, the date picker, if I wanted to see Q1 transactions, I select here, and it's going to then filter the transactions based on that date range, and you can select any year, any month, or a particular date range. I did a demo once with the church, and she said we wanted to see all of our checks for a 7-day period. You would just select whatever date range you want to see for that particular period, and then it would figure those transactions based on that date range. So I think we've pretty much covered all of the payment types. Were there any questions that you guys might have with that? No? All righty. We'll go back to the... If you need any help, we do have an online help system available. And if you wanted to just leave this here, I'll leave this here for a minute. You can jot down this address, 360ledger.zendesk.com, and it is an online help system that we have. We also have training manual available. It's $25 plus shipping. Those are available to purchase through our sales line if you're interested. My contact information, again, is listed there. You can call us on the sales line at any time with questions. In addition to that, all of our Church360 subscriptions include unlimited technical support. So if you have any questions along the way, they are there to help more with questions than there are problems. I sit right across the aisle from them, and many times the question is, how do I do something, or can you help me do something, versus there's a problem with the program. So they're very knowledgeable, always willing to help out with any questions you might have. And then in addition to that, all of our training webinars are posted on our YouTube channel, and we do have a resource center available through our concordiatechnology.org website. You can click on the resource tab, and it gives you product information. Just select the product that you want, and that information would be there. So going through our outline, we have covered the definitions, transaction types, debit and credit chart, the special transactions, and now we have time for questions. If you guys have any questions that you can think of, we'll leave it open for a few minutes. No questions? Okay. Well, again, this will be posted on our YouTube channel with all of our other training classes. We do have the checks and payees training later this week. And then next week we'll have additional Church360 Ledger trainings as well as Church360 members and Unite trainings later this week. Feel free to attend any of those that you need to. And if there are no questions, we'll go ahead and stop today. If you think of any after the fact, please feel free to give me a call. You guys have a great day. Thank you.